Hello, Trojan fans. Welcome to another edition of Tunnel Vision. I'm your host, USCFootball.com publisher Ryan Abraham, here in our studios, joined in person by Triple Double, Connor Morrissette, and very special guest. We got Chris Trevino is in the house. We were all in West Lafayette, Indiana, until the wee hours of the morning, watching USC take down the Purdue Boilermakers 33-17. And we got to talk about everything we saw on the trip and what it means for USC going forward. USC gets ranked in the AP for the first time this season. Lots of stuff to get to, including a 3-hour lightning delay. All of us traveled today. All of us, Chris, I don't know how much sleep you had. Connor and I were like in the 2-hour range. I don't know if you might be in the 0 range, right?
I am tired, but I did have some sleep on the plane. Caught like 4 hours there, and then I took a 2-hour nap. So I'm up to 6 hours, but I literally did not sleep from the end of the game until I got on the plane at 6:30 to head back to Denver to Long Beach. So, yeah, I'm a little low on energy.
Yes.
We're here to talk football.
It's great that we're all here, and Connor was in the same boat as me. We both were on the same flights, but like two-ish hours of before we got from the Airbnb to the airport and to the flights and everything. It's not Midwest travel isn't easy, especially when you travel like us and you're like stops at places and stuff. But we're here. I thought it was great that we have everyone on the show that was on the trip, but then I realized none of us have slept, and that's going to be maybe the energy is going to be a low. We got to bring the energy. You ready, Connor?
Yeah, I'm ready to bring the energy. Let's talk about USC's first true road win in the Big Ten outside of LA. It's a big one. They got the monkey off their back. I got a lot of thoughts. I know you guys do too. So
yeah,
it definitely feels better when the team walks away with a victory because, man, we didn't get too much of that last season, and just the team is in good spirits. They're ranked. Things are trending in the right direction right now, so feels good.
They do. It is trending in the right direction, 3-0, and we'll get into all this stuff. So I just want to let everyone know we are live on YouTube and live on Facebook. If you are on Facebook and you have some questions, comments, concerns, you can put those in the chat, and I can pop them up on the screen. For whatever reason, the YouTube stuff isn't working. We can see your comments. I will look at them and try to copy them and stuff. So I can't put your comments up on the screen on YouTube, but we got a whole bunch of people very active in the chat from the very beginning, so we appreciate that. I'm sorry I won't be able to put them up on the screen for all of you. We will also take calls. So 512-4-TUNNEL is the number. So if you want to call in and chat, Connor will be looking at that. He'll just let me know if any of you guys call in, and we'll put you on the air and love to hear from you.
Was anyone in the chat right now at the game? I'm curious.
Yeah, Jeff, our friend Jeff was.
He's in the chat right now.
He's in the chat. He said he saw me at the airport this morning. I didn't see him. Did you see me and wave and I missed it? Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, he asked what the schneid means. So there's a term like get off the schneid, like basically like something that hasn't been working for a while. Like USC hasn't been able to win on the road. They got off the schneid. That means they were able to get a win on the road. So it's a break a losing streak. Trojan Dale chimed in there. So he does say, welcome back, guys. USC Trojan Zone says UCLA 0-12. We'll get into that a little bit. Mark, as always, says hi to Ryan, Triple Double, and Chris T. Some people are happy to see you, Chris, which is great.
I feel rusty. I haven't done this in a long time.
I know, but you're here.
I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
Do whatever you want. You can, move them around. So what are we going to talk about today? So lightning. Yes, lightning. That's most of the reason why we only got a couple hours or 0 sleep. Over a 3-hour lightning delay. We'll get into that. So we'll talk about what USC did in the game. We'll get into all that stuff. Already mentioned in the chat, Deshaun Foster, UCLA head coach, was fired today. Britt Pry from Virginia Tech was also fired. But we'll get into the UCLA stuff. We got to see Dan Weber, which was great. We got a little Marcus Allen sighting in the stadium and got to chat with him a little bit. And then USC being ranked in the AP poll for the very first time. So that's what we got on tap, and we'd love to talk about anything else you guys want to talk about. But, yeah, the main deal coming into this one, and I'll put when we were in the press box, and, well, first of all, this started when we went to breakfast, and we all looked at the weather, and it was supposed to be sunny and like 85 degrees. So I didn't even bring long sleeves to this trip because it's less than 48 hours. And then we're like, oh, it might rain. And then we're at Cracker Barrel getting some breakfast, And we get outside, and it starts to rain. We're like, uh-oh. We had to get an Uber to the stadium from there, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so. And it was getting kind of chilly. I didn't have a jacket. Went into Cracker Barrel and bought one.
He really wants to talk about the jacket.
I love the jacket.
We're leading with the jacket.
Yeah, it's important.
How do you not have a picture of you in the jacket?
I
You
should
could
have
at
had the
least
picture,
put a
yeah.
picture of yourself in the jacket.
It changed, though. Like, the weather changed.
I'm going to see if it's on the Cracker Barrel website.
And we get to the stadium. Then I start talking to, I run into Jen Cohen and Jay Hillbrands from the athletic department, and there's some initial concern that this game might be delayed. And so I post on the Peristyle. You guys are getting updates down on the field. USC is warming up on the field, and Purdue is not. And they're like, well, they know something that we don't. And eventually the game gets postponed. There's lightning strikes, pouring down rain. Oh, do you have a picture of the
It's the brown oilskin jacket.
brown oilskin jacket? Maybe I'll pull it up and I'll show people.
It's a white man, not you, in the jacket. So
different-
I
a
should
different white man.
Photoshop Ryan's face on there. So
But I can download a picture. Yes, so I'm showing you guys a photo if you're watching on video. They kept putting like the weather, map up there, and they had to evacuate everybody. I mean, it was pretty crazy. Like, and going back, there was some history. 2012, the Syracuse game that was delayed at halftime for a little bit. Way back in 1990, the end of the Ohio State game when USC was up 9, and they just recovered an onside kick, and Ohio State had no timeouts. There was like 2 minutes and change left, and they just called the game. At that point, there was lightning in the area. But this is all the people I've talked to. This is the only time they can remember certainly this long of a delay to start a game. But it was pretty crazy. I know, Connor, you were in the press box with me. Chris, you were on the field. If you guys want to give your thoughts, either one.
Yeah, just kind of boring. Nothing you could do. We had the pregame stuff already on the website, and then just had to sit tight in the press box for 3 hours. But, Chris, I think you have some more interesting stuff than I do.
I don't want to say I had a great time, but I definitely had a more interesting time than you guys up in the press box, because obviously I'm getting soaked down there because it starts to rain, and I'm literally listening to the Purdue band director telling the band, like, this is what's going to happen if a lightning delay hits, and then mid-sentence he gets word that the lightning delay is in effect. So they're like, all right, just got word, everyone out. And then everyone starts filing out. The student section starts booing. They don't want to leave. Everyone's congested up in the exit in the stadium
Concourses?
yeah. Under. Some people got to stay in the stadium, but everyone down who went through the field, because you could actually through the field, were booted out of the stadium, which again they weren't happy with. They thought they could just wait down there, but it's like, nope, security issue, you got to get out. So everyone was just kicked out, and then it started raining harder. It was nice that Purdue opened up. I think the basketball facility got opened up. The track and field house was opened up, and I went there to check out what was going on. I was just exploring around, looking for ghost notes, talking to people out there outside the stadium, and the bands made their way to the field house, and they were doing a little showcase for people that were in there taking shelter and battling back and forth. I put some video up of that. So, yeah, I was just running around, and I got to write like 800 ghost notes. I took 45 minutes to write, and that really helped. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have that, because we got back super late, and I just had to keep writing through the night. But to have all that done early was nice. But, yeah, I was a little bummed we had that big of a delay over 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3:30 local time. We were like, okay, decent. And then this is going to end up being a night game, and we don't leave the press box till like midnight. Here's the jacket in question. Yes, there you go, people. That's actually in the rain. See, protected myself. For $80, I was like, man, I was cold. I wanted to get a jacket at Cracker
You
Barrel.
think this is a bit? He is genuinely proud of the jacket.
I like it. Now I have a Big Ten. You guys said it was a Big Ten Midwestern jacket. Now we got.
It'll be perfect in Nebraska, November 1st.
Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat from Blood Mist Demon.
Oh my goodness.
Fight on from Notre Dame area. Okay.
Indiana.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Corn.
Indiana. We got 2 more Midwestern trips coming up soon. Illinois and of course Notre Dame again. But see, Andrew says rustic skin, Ryan. Yeah. Appreciate it. Well, yeah, I'm glad you guys hopefully you guys approve the jacket. It was maybe my favorite part of the weekend. No, but it was good. Obviously, get the win. Get off the schneid, as people were saying. A lot of stuff went wrong for USC last season going on the road. And then when there's like this lightning delay, when we had all looked at the weather and it was sunny and 85, and that couldn't be any different, you're just like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And there were some vibes in this game of a Maryland game from last year where USC had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, ended up blowing it. But USC took care of business. And I think one of the things I wanted to get you guys your thoughts on is the way things were going wrong at certain aspects with the penalties and, the lightning delay and all that. Purdue had like an indoor facility to train in, and USC players were trying to figure things out. And they were talking about, when they're, Lincoln Riley talked about eating meals and, trying to figure out how to make it so, all right, you're going to, because you have all these plans and they're just thrown out the window when you're going to be delayed. You don't know when they're going to start again. But they seem to have the right attitude. Last year, I don't know if they win this game. The way things started to go wrong. And, this year they figured out a way to do it. It wasn't the cleanest game of the world. But I don't know, get your thoughts on that. It seemed like the vibes were a little bit different when so many things could have gone wrong, and you're just like, that's okay. Going to buckle down, push through, ended up getting the win.
You know what the difference is this year? It's the pass rush. That is what made the difference in this game. It's why USC had the 3 turnovers. There was pressure on Purdue quarterback Ryan Brown on all 3 of his interceptions. Bishop Fitzgerald got 2 of them. Jamaal Jarrett, of course, had the 70-yard return, the 360-pound defensive lineman. We think that's the heaviest guy to ever score a touchdown in USC football history. Let us know in the chat if you can think of someone heavier, but they didn't make guys like that going back a few decades. So the fact that he scored that touchdown was awesome. And last season, defensively, USC couldn't come up with the critical play that they needed in some of these road games, Michigan, Maryland. Just when they needed a stop, they couldn't get it. And was this Purdue game perfect? No, but they got that critical stop a couple of times in with interceptions, and it was because of the pass rush. USC, they had 4 sacks in the first half. They finished with 5. Ryan Brown was running for his life. I actually thought besides the picks, he stood in there, and I gained a lot of respect for that guy. He was under fire all night long. So when we talk about, what's the big difference from last year to this year, there's, of course, other things. But I start with the pass rush because I think if USC couldn't get consistent pressure on Brown, we would have been looking at a repeat of last year where a couple things start to go wrong. All the momentum is with the home team, and then next thing you know, it's either a tie game or Purdue goes up. But no, Bishop Fitzgerald at the end makes the critical pick, and then the pick 6 before in the third from Jamaal Jarrett was huge. The pass rush is the big difference to me.
I'm looking at it from a bigger picture of this team and this game, and I think we need to give the team a lot of credit for overcoming a lot of adversity going to this game. Now, again, having that delay, and we've been talking about them playing on the road the whole offseason. Like, this is a first big test for them. I know some people were looking at, no, Illinois will be the first big test. No, this was a big test for them, just going into a place where they will be favored to win and actually winning. Obviously, they didn't cover.
They were 20.5-point favorites, though. Let me just push back on that a little bit. I think USC massively has more talent than Purdue. So I agree with you. It was big to get the win. But
did they not out-talent, sorry to throw my Terps under the bus, Maryland last year? Did they not out-talent Minnesota last year? And they lost both of those games. They had the lead,
True.
And they lost both of those games. So I wrote about it when I made the pick. This team has not earned my pick for them to cover, if you will. But even still, we didn't know if they were going to win this game. And I'm sure a lot of USC fans watching this game had that feeling in the fourth quarter when they're up 13 and, they missed that kick, or Purdue was able to score and you got the crowd back in the game. You just felt like they were one mistake away or one turnover away from falling into the old habits that they had last year. But I want to give them credit for not doing that. They didn't turn the ball over. They didn't panic after, Ryan Sierra doinks that kick off and the crowd is back in it. Okay, we have a chance. And they ran the ball in the fourth quarter. They ran 15 times in the fourth quarter. They chewed up clock. Lincoln Riley was chewing up clock in the Big Ten in the fourth quarter with the lead. I think we need to talk about that more. So I want to give this team a lot of credit for showing that at least in this game, that they learned something from those narrow losses they had last season, because they could have very easily resorted to how they played in 2024, and they very easily could have lost that game if they to borrow the from the replacements, the quicksand. Something doesn't go your way, you start sinking and things go wrong. And they did that a lot last season. But they did not panic at Purdue. And because of that, and because of some other changes, Jermaine Carroll, I've talked to some sources, going into these games, they were very confident that the changes that he has made was going to help them play better in the fourth and finish games. And they played better in the fourth and finished a game on the road. And so for that, they earned this win. And I think we need to give them credit. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. There are a lot of things to clean up, a lot of things to get better. Yes, the pass rush was great. That D-line was giving Purdue the business all afternoon, evening. So
yeah,
I do want to give them credit for showing that they can win on the road in 2025.
Some big plays from both sides, obviously. I mean, there were some explosive pass plays, and for Purdue, like you said, Ryan Brown got the ball out quick, but man, he was under pressure a lot and did a good job. But that pressure did lead to some massive plays for this USC defense, to essentially taking points off the board. Bishop Fitzgerald twice doing that, interception in the end zone and one at the goal line. But the thick six, as you like to call it, I have your video that you shot. So
let's go.
I'm going to show it. And this was one of the coolest plays. And Connor mentioned it. I talked to some USC historians. Mike Patterson scored a touchdown against UCLA back in 2003, but he was only like 285 pounds.
Skinny guy.
Yeah. I think Jay Tufele did.
Utah.
But he's not this big. 360 pounds.
He was
plus.
like 310 Tufele.
Yeah. So this is
another skinny guy.
Yeah, this is probably, I think, the biggest touchdown in USC football history by the biggest player. It might be one of, it's probably up there for college football history too. But let's check it out.
Am I allowed to just comment on it while it's
Sure, go ahead.
So I get a lot of questions sometimes when people watch the field level highlights, because I don't follow the defense down the field, and a lot of people are like, why you do that? For moments like this, because if you get a big play like this and you're on the opposite side of the field, you get a pick six, you get a thick six, you're going to miss it. And as you can see, I was literally in the best position possible to get this. So this is why you have to stay disciplined when you're tracking USC's defense. Don't get greedy and try to go down there for better, closer clips. Got to stay disciplined, stay in your rush lanes and your film lanes, and you'll be rewarded sometimes with plays like that.
That was such a good shot. It's so weird that none of the smaller players came and caught up to him until like the very end, and it was too late. And he just Jaw's like, just get off me, We got an interview with Jaw coming up too. We're gonna get him on our House of Victory interview, so that should be a lot of fun. We already had him on once, but now he gets to talk about some massive play that he had in this win against Purdue. So that'll be a fun one. Yeah, we'll put on the Peristyle questions and stuff if you have questions for him. Check it out. But that was a big play, Connor.
Yeah, definitely excited to talk with him. He's a really energetic guy, too. He was so happy after the game. He said he's run faster in his time at USC in practice, so we'll just have to take his word for it.
Let's get the catapult data. Let's check the catapult data.
He can move any faster.
We also have another super chat. Okay. Sorry, I missed this one. This is from GS 7585. Refs still out on the field picking up flags. The holds were just ridiculous. Riley needs to work the officials, because in a close game, those calls will result in a loss or two.
He let a ref have it in the first quarter. I think he wanted a chop block on a Wayman TFL, that first drive where they got points. He was lighting into that ref. I don't know if you want to call that working the ref, but
he definitely works him sometimes.
Yeah, he definitely does. But again, it doesn't. A couple, some really bad calls in that game against USC, and Purdue got some favorable calls last week against Southern Miss, I believe.
Southern Illinois.
Excuse me. Yeah, I know. I saw some Peristyle people talking about it. Like they got some home cooking in that game. I wonder if it'll be the same in this weekend. There was definitely a little bit of that. Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead. Do you have something, Connor?
I was just gonna say, I totally get the frustration. Like the Jakeem Stewart hold, that one was a total phantom call. So I understand that. I think largely, though, a lot of it is just it's hard to officiate and the guys are incompetent. Like this crew didn't blow for the 2-minute warning at the end of the first half, and Purdue had a nice big chunk play, and then that got taken off the board because they snapped it after the 2-minute mark had hit. So, like, of course, I think USC got the short end of the stick in this game, but there was one call that went against Purdue as well. And then, I mean, I understand the frustration, too, with the touchdown where Ryan Brown picks up that lateral, that backwards pass. It didn't really look backwards, so I get it. I hate these conversations because you just want it to be evenly officiated. We want to talk about what's going on in the field, but, like, I get why there would be frustration. There were some calls that could just kind of make you scratch your head. And I try not to be too critical of the refs, but even I called them terrible. So
yeah,
I definitely get it.
Yeah, the hold on Jakeem Stewart that was whack, and it looked on Walter Matthews the leaping. I saw it like from the press box, like that looks like he was leaping over the line like that. I knew that was illegal as soon as I saw it, but then you watch the replay and it looked like it was more jumping straight up in the air and someone coming underneath him. So yeah, that was a turnover. Lincoln Riley said it after the game. That was a turnover. They also had 2 sideline interference calls,
and that's within their control.
which is like that you can control. Another hands to the face after 3 the previous week. Yeah, there's some weird ones there. One of the weird things, and I asked Wayman Jordan about this after the game a little bit, but wanted to get your thoughts. The run game wasn't great to start, and Jordan was only averaged like a yard or 2 per carry for his first handful of touches, and then, like you said, by the fourth quarter, they were running clock and being able to ice the game away. But in the beginning, it was a little rougher, and as far as the delay goes, do you feel like? I mean, the offensive line did not look as good to me. I think some of the other positions, maybe on the defensive side where you're like giving up some chunk plays. Do you think the delay had a negative impact on any position group? Like could have hurt the offensive line, the bigger guys a little bit more than maybe the skill guys? I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that and what you felt about USC's run game not really looking very well early on in this one.
That's tough to quantify. I would just say I think they played better players this week. Didn't go up against Missouri State or Georgia Southern, 2 teams that were really bad defensively last year. So I think maybe the running game expectations were a little unrealistic after the first 2 cupcake opponents. But I like that Lincoln Riley stuck with the run game, Chris, as you'd mentioned, and just because they weren't necessarily hitting like doubles and triples in the run game, you can still hit some singles and keep the clock churning. So I think Wayman Jordan, like, remember, he played junior college the last couple of years. For as good as he is, he's still adjusting to this level. I think last night was a learning experience for him, and we saw even King Miller get some run. He had some important snaps and caught a pass. Eli Sanders ended up being the top rusher in terms of yards per carry with 7.5 yards per carry. So they still did some nice things. Anytime you can run for 4.5 yards per clip, that's solid, especially on the road. So, yeah, it wasn't great, but it was good enough to win. And when USC, has the road history that they do, good enough to win, you take that.
Yeah, like Connor, I really can't speak to if the rain delay had any effect on the offensive linemen and how they started. I just thought Purdue was making some good plays in there. I mean, they're
well coached.
Yeah, they were well coached, and Barry Odom's a good defensive coach, and they were coached up, and they were getting the tackles, they were getting the stops, they were frustrating. Wayman Jordan, he didn't have a lot of space to make his moves, and yeah, I just thought that's how they were playing, determined to not let USC's run game get going. I'm still need to rewatch the game. It's been a busy day, so I haven't really got to watch that. So just going off vibes from the field, but yeah, I would definitely say they made an effort to not let USC get the run going. But as Connor alluded to, and I want to give credit to Lincoln Riley, sticking with the run, because that has been something that he has not done. You get stymied, and then you go away from it, pass. But they stuck with it, and this is something that Gerard has mentioned many, many times on the composite. Sorry, I have to plug it on the tunnel vision, but he's been saying this. Lincoln Riley has this habit of, running the ball, and then when it goes bad, they go away from it, quickly get away from it. But they kept running, and I believe Wayman pointed it out in that presser, I believe he used the phrase "wore them down," and that's what you do with the run game. you keep pounding them and pounding them and pounding them, and then you break a couple, and then you break some more, and then you wear down a defensive front. And that's what consecutive running attempts can do, and sticking with it, because eventually you're going to get one.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're going to get one, and that is a Big Ten staple. And so I applaud Lincoln Riley for doing that, and that's why they were able to run more successfully in the fourth quarter. They were able to get much more effective running, rushed 15 times in that quarter. I believe they got 63 yards. I believe they chewed up like 10 minutes of clock altogether in that quarter. And USC, these first 3 games, they've I don't know what the average is. I'm dumb, but they rushed 40 times in this game, and they have rushed for at least 30 attempts. They have at least 30 rushing attempts in the first 3 games of the season.
It's stuff that we were calling for last year. Just run
Yeah.
the ball.
And
Yeah.
They didn't have that all last year. They didn't have 3 consecutive games with at least 30 rushes last year.
No.
The last time they did it, 2022. And as we know, that was a pretty good team. So they're off to a fantastic start when it comes to at least trying to run the ball.
Yeah.
So I want to give Riley credit there, because we've, hammered him for that. So now that he's done it, I think we need to give him credit.
That makes a big difference. And then I think the game was won through the air, because you look at the explosive pass plays in this game. Jayden Maiava threw for 282 yards. 222 of them came on 7 pass plays. Jacoby Lane, that connection was awesome in this game. They look great. There wasn't a passing touchdown thrown, but when you run the ball as much as they did, that does open up the passing game. And I thought Lincoln Riley, from an offensive perspective in that first half, Lane and Lemon are really talented, and Hines is really talented. How about that play on 3rd and 10 that he made? But there were some plays where those guys were running wide open. I thought this was a really good game plan from Lincoln Riley early, when he just was able to scheme some of those guys wide open. They were moving the ball at will. I know they kind of stalled out in the red zone a little bit, so you can have some nitpicks with that. But, like, the explosive plays that you would expect from this head coach, you're getting them this year. And the fact that they had 222 yards through the air on only 7 plays in this game is really, really impressive. And that just goes to show how much Maiava's improved and how good Lemon and Lane are. And Tanuk Hines was a part of the equation, too. I felt like this was a really great game from him as well.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up Maiava because the USC struggled a little bit on. There were limited possessions to start, so really like kind of 8 real possessions for USC, because they couldn't really get off the field on defense. So just everything took time. They weren't getting the ball back a whole lot, and USC never punted in the game, which is a good sign. But also 5 field goal attempts after getting in the red zone a whole bunch, and so I think that was a little bit of a concern. But 3 of 14, I think, on 3rd down, or 4 of 13 on 4 of 13 on 3rd downs. But the impressive thing to me was 4 of 4 on 4th downs, because you got into these kind of no man land, and it really wouldn't make sense to kick a field goal or a punt, and just kind of going for it, and various shorter yardages, but and they just look super smooth executing those plays. And I felt like Jayden Maiava, 3rd game in a row without a turnover, so that was a knock on him last year. We'll see if he can keep that going into Big Ten play. The one concern I had, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this too, but he looked like within the flow of the offense, he was doing a nice job. If it was a quick hitter to Lane over the middle or whatever it was, the deep balls were really nice, and some of those were low. It seems like lower percentage throws, and he was able to hit the guy in stride. When the play broke down and maybe he left the pocket, and you could say maybe he left it too early. You remember, like, Caleb Williams, just when he's outside of that, he's scanning the downfield, and you're going to find somebody open. It seemed like once that broke down, the play was kind of dead, and maybe he can run a little bit or throw it out of bounds. Maybe that's one of the areas where he's got to kind of work on a little bit. But when he was working with the flow of the offense, it felt like everything was good. And when the play broke down a little bit, I think there were some struggles there.
He's definitely better than last season. That's unquestionable. He's taken big strides. I think something to watch for with him, though, as the year goes on. First half, he completed 11 of 14 passes for 184 yards. And then the second half, I have him for, I think, 6 of 14 passes. Like, Purdue kind of made it a little bit more difficult for him. They didn't rush as many guys. They would drop more guys into coverage. He almost threw an interception in the second half. He didn't. I'm not penalizing him for something he didn't do. But, like, when you're under Lincoln Riley, they can script a lot of things in that first half. It can look explosive and great as it did, but then kind of the second half, it's up to you once the defense sort of figures things out, and that's the next thing with him. He needs to get better there, and he'll have the opportunity to do so. Again, I'm not trying to hammer the kid. He's doing really well out there, but there were some plays in that second half where as the year goes on, USC plays tougher teams. People will get this on film. They'll adjust. When you make him make decisions, that's still an area where he can get better, but this was a game that showed tremendous growth from him, and I certainly leave very impressed with him. But like the first half to the second half, the numbers and just the vibes with the offense, a lot of the reason why it didn't click for some of those plays is because Purdue has a really good coaching staff. They made some adjustments. Maiava was asked to do more, and right now that's just challenging for him, and that's going to be challenging for most quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point made by you, that second half to first half difference and how defensive coordinators and coaches will adjust to him in the second half of games, and it'll be up to Maiava and Lincoln Riley to have those answers when that time is called for. But I do want to give credit to Jayden Maiava. No turnovers through the first 3 games of the season. Did have a couple throws in this game where it could have been a pick, especially that one to the Jacoby Lane where they got tipped up. Would have been a classic tip drill interception, but for the most part, took care of the ball. There was a couple plays where he didn't have anything, so he just threw it out of bounds, which I think is a good sign of growth and, living for the next play, not trying to make it all up in one play. So I do want to give him credit there. And you're right, these teams are going to get better. You got Illinois, you have Notre Dame, you have Michigan, you have these teams that are going to really test him, and those are going to be the ones where he really needs to take care of the ball. But the fact that he has done it through 3 weeks with no turnovers is a good sign and something that he needs to keep up with. And I know I was bearish on him throughout this offseason, and especially going into the year. A lot of that was behind my 8-4 prediction, but I just want to say he's done a really nice job, and he's made me eat a little bit of crow so far, but that's fine. But again, opponents will get tougher. He also needs to be ready for those, but so far he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think he's doing a really nice job, and I think if you can keep that, just keeping the ball out of harm's way, that was the biggest knock, from last year. But like I said, I thought he flowed well with the offense, and to connect on some of those bigger plays and to go 4 for 4 on 4th down when everything's on the line, and just it looks so smooth. It just, if it was him, doing the little mesh and then taking off and running. So I think that it puts some interesting stuff on tape too, where he used his legs a little bit more in this game, and just something that defenses are going to have to account for.
And he's just got better chemistry with the guys around him. Obviously, that obviously makes a big difference with that smoothness. And there were times last year when he was new QB1 where they weren't always on the same page. Still trying to get used to these new receivers, but for the most part, he looks pretty in sync with his 2 elite guys, and obviously Lake McCree having a really good start. Tight ends made plays in that game. So
he does. They're just going to need to complete more than 6 passes in the second half against better teams. That's not exactly reinventing the wheel. I thought this game just overall kind of cemented my thoughts on the team, what we all kind of thought going into the year. The defense is probably a little worse than I thought. The offense is probably a little better, but overall, I still see this season coming down to the 5 tough games that we all kind of thought. Like Michigan State coming into the Coliseum Saturday, that's a game USC should win. They have some injuries. We all kind of expected this 4-0 start, and don't get me wrong, they still have to do that. Looks like they're on track to do it. But then those 5 games, that's what it's going to be all about, and that's kind of what everyone's been saying from the jump, and we all have been in agreement on that. And after this Purdue game, I think we learned, yes, they can win on the road, of course. They got the job done, but we still got to see what it looks like against those opponents, because there was some stuff in this game, especially defensively, and then even on offense, too, in the second half. It wasn't as clean of a second half as you would have liked. In the first half, I thought USC was really in control, and they really could have made a statement if they landed a knockout blow in the third quarter. The fact that they didn't, not the end of the world, but that to me would have kind of impressed me more, made me think maybe the ceiling for this season is a little higher, but it's one game, and we'll see what happens against these better teams.
We got a bunch of people in the chat on YouTube and some on Facebook as well. I got a question we'll get to a little bit from Earl, and I'm copying, pasting questions from the chat from YouTube. Do we have any callers, Connor?
No one so far.
Okay, it's 5124 Tunnel if you want to call in and say hello and give us your piece and tell us what you want us to talk about here on the show. Anything else from the game, guys, before we move on and talk about some other things?
I'm ready for some questions and people to guide us on what we want to talk about.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll just mention, too, USC did debut in the Associated Press Top 25 poll today, coming at number 25, still just outside of the coaches poll, but moved up the AP at 3-0, just behind 0-2 Notre Dame, but they 2 close games against good teams.
Someone asked me what would be the line between Notre Dame and USC.
Someone in the chat said, according to the ESPN analytics, USC would be favored in every game except the Oregon game at this point. So the analytics do like USC. I think the FPI
They
USC
love
is
USC.
number 5. Yeah, that'll change as you play, if you lose some games or play better teams or whatever. But blowing teams out, I think that helps. But yeah, like Connor said, this team should be 4-0 going into it. But yeah, I think it's good to be ranked. It's the people say it's not important. I mean, it is. Like, if you thought South Carolina was like a top 12 kind of team and then they just get blown out by Vanderbilt, well, Vanderbilt must be good. There's sort of like these self-fulfilling prophecies and stuff going on. So it's better, like if you have an undefeated Big Ten team, you want USC to be ranked, or Nebraska, or whoever the teams you're playing, and they'll move up. But they're just sort of like in the prove it mode, where in the SEC, a lot of those teams, you're just like accepting it mode. You're like, all right, that's good. Let's pull up some questions here. We'll do Earl and Facebook. I'm sorry, I can put up Facebook questions on the screen, but not YouTube, which I'm sorry about that. But he says, what do you think of the offensive line so far, and why is the defense giving up a lot of big plays?
A lot to get into with that. I think the offensive line has been solid to good.
Solid to good. I think that's a good descriptor.
Better than I thought. And then the big plays defensively, I think it has a lot to do with a new look Mike linebacker and Desmond Stevens. Not that he's making all kinds of mistakes, but Easton Mascarenas Arnold last year, I don't think with him, he always knew where to be. It was just kind of a matter of maybe sometimes he wouldn't make the tackle. Desmond Stevens is still figuring out where to be. He's kind of the leader of that defense. And then at the cornerback spot, they got some injuries, but they're just not getting the play that you would hope from that spot. And Kamari Ramsey having to play nickel right now limits them, where if he's back there with Bishop Fitzgerald and you have a guy who's more familiar with that role, just allowing Kamari to do what he does best, that would really help. But, yeah, I think the secondary, it's certainly concerning, and I did expect a little bit more from Danton Lynn's defense here in year 2, but there have been some injuries. So I think the secondary and having a new look Mike linebacker is a big part of why they're letting up some chunk plays.
Yeah, I wonder if we'd be talking about it like this, if they still have Prophet Brown there at that nickel, and you could have Kamari in a more natural safety spot. So, yeah, I think secondary has a lot to do with those issues. And, that's Dan Lynn's area. He's a safety coach, so he's going to have to earn his money a little bit and get those guys right, and until they can get some guys healthy and back for that nickel spot. But, yeah, and I agree with you on the mic. And, you have a sophomore there, true sophomore, who didn't start last year, one game.
Yeah.
And, got the green dot, a lot of responsibility. He's got to get everyone lined up. He's on the road, yada, yada. So there's a lot of things going through his head. And you're hoping by, mid-season things start to slow down a little bit, to take a cliche that coaches love to use. You hope, and we believe in the talent. We believe in his ability. So I think it will at some point. But you're just hoping it's sooner rather than later, where, he's got everything in control and can kind of start playing faster.
The one thing with the corners, too, Purdue, I would say, has 3 good receivers. Not great, but 3 solid guys, Nitro Tuggle, Michael Jackson, and Branch, who didn't do a ton. But I think the fact that USC was playing off a little bit, so it wasn't all just, the coverage was bad. But, that last Purdue touchdown, DeCarlos Nicholson just gets beat straight up, and it's a touchdown. That's going to happen sometimes, but, I think you would hope that the corners would just make a few more plays, where you're seeing Bishop Fitzgerald make plays and Kamari Ramsey make plays. And in this game, Christian Pierce had a sack. You're not really seeing the playmaking ability from some of the cornerbacks, and we'll see if that changes.
I think we had one Chasen Johnson pass breakup, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. We got a question, pull it up here, from James. Any news on Alex Graham's injury? And getting Ramsey back at safety will help the defense.
I haven't heard anything other than he's just not been out there.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what the injury is. I don't really want to speculate, but there's nothing. It's not like he has a knee brace on or his ankles are taped up. He's just not dressed. So if I had to guess, actually, I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to do that.
Not going to guess?
I'm not going to put that out there and then have everyone being like, oh, this is what it is.
All right. I'll do some of the YouTube questions that I've copied and pasted. SoCal weddings. Can we look up? What was USC's red zone touchdown percentage last year? Concerned this is a carryover problem.
I got you. If anyone wants to stall. Their touchdown percentage in the red zone?
Yeah.
They were 70.9. That was 23 in the nation. And then this year, early jump on my stat pack.
Okay.
They're 66.67, which is tied for 54th.
That's another thing where not a huge concern, but it's funny. Like USC had more success when they just had more space for the receivers to run into because the routes that those guys would run and the scheme from Riley, like just the play calls would get these guys wide open. So when the field would shrink, they'd be in a little bit of trouble. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where USC won 33-17. They had chances to blow it open. They didn't. They kicked 5 field goals. That's not great, but I'm not going to kill them for the red zone struggles so far. We'll see if it's a consistent theme. This has just been one game, and I mean, like I'm a little concerned, but I got to see more evidence.
All right. Sorry, I'm pulling up these. Got to copy and paste these questions. Thanks for the questions in YouTube and Facebook. It's great. Trojan fight. Do we have any update on Braylon Conley? He left the game with 2 minutes left in to the locker room with an apparent injury.
Yeah, I was told he sprained his wrist or jammed his wrist. He collided with a teammate on a field goal. So I don't know like the severity of it, but didn't seem like it was. I think they just wanted to be extra precaution with it. We'll obviously see at practice what's going on there, but yeah, I didn't hear anything like, oh, it's like broken or something.
Oh, good.
Just like.
I thought at first when you say sprained wrist, I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. But
just like jammed.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's what I was.
They're going to need him. I think he might be one of the best corners on the team. Yeah.
I agree. Let's go to Blackie Chan. If someone told you at the beginning of the season that USC would lead the country in sacks, would you have believed them?
Yes.
You would have?
I like Cameron Fountain. I like Braylon Shelby.
Okay.
I like that trio.
I don't think I would have, to be honest. The pass rush has definitely impressed me and been better than I expected. And it goes back to what we've all been talking about. If that pass rush can do what they're doing against the best teams on the schedule, USC's going to have a lot of success. That's a huge X factor.
Eric Henderson is their coach. Sooner or later, that pass rush was going to start connecting out there. Shout out to Blackie Chan, too. Saw him at the game.
You did?
Multiple times.
Oh, I didn't get to see him.
Shout out to Eric Henderson's evaluation skills. Obviously, Jakeem Stewart, everyone was high on him, but Floyd Boucard, that guy's
Canadian,
a player.
The Canadian.
That guy is a freaking player. He is going to be good at USC for a long time.
I want to know how many pressures he has.
Yeah. He's doing well. Jeff had a question. Are we buying Tanook Hines as our number 3 wide receiver, given how many targets / field time he got yesterday?
Yes, and if everyone was healthy, I'd still be totally buying. I think he's just the third best guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, Lake McCree has, contributed. He's had some nice big catches, too. I don't know if I would call either of them the true number 3 right now, but those are your two kind of third and fourth, 3A, 3B kind of playmakers. Tanook had that huge third down catch and then almost brought in an incredible one-handed catch for a touchdown there. But he's good for, a couple targets per game. I think you'll see that grow more. Obviously, he is a true freshman who came in the summer, so still kind of, getting up to speed. But the fact that he is already advanced enough to get on the field as a summer enrollee should talk a lot, should speak to his talent level and how far he is in, being a contributor. So I think by the midseason we'll see a lot more of him make more plays.
really quick on Floyd Boucard. 17 snaps, 6 quarterback pressures.
Okay.
Wow.
He's got to play more.
Yes, he probably should. We got
Another one.
super chat. Only natties. 5 bones. Peeps need to lay off. D and Lynn. They're giving up only 16.7 points per game with a young unit. Grinch Boy would have give that up in less than a quarter. We're doing fine. Thoughts?
I'd give Lynn a B- so far.
Yeah, it could be better.
Could be better, and you're kind of taking into account, like, it's year 2, and,
Yes.
you know, we hyped it up, certainly. Like, this defense could be really, really good in year 2, and obviously got a pay raise. You know, one of the highest paid D coordinators in the country, so your standard for him is going to be a little higher this year. It could be better, but I think they have done some really nice things, especially with that front.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that question. Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Andrew, if USC and Illinois do their job, is this matchup a game day game?
I was thinking big noon kickoff.
It could be. Yeah, it's probably. But it could be. They've done both. You know, I don't know what else is going on that weekend. I haven't looked.
I think some people were saying not much is that weekend. I could be
So
wrong.
Illinois plays Indiana this weekend. Obviously, USC needs to beat Michigan State. I mean, game day's going to like the Florida game. Like they've lost 2 games and they're going to Florida. Like, yeah, I don't know.
SEC bias?
There's a lot of that. But if Illinois is undefeated and USC is undefeated, Illinois is like a top 10 team and USC is like number 20 or something by then. It seems like it'd be an excellent candidate, you know.
I'm looking up what the big games are that week, so don't mind me. You got Texas at Utah, which could be
Texas at Utah?
Yeah. Texas Tech, sorry. Texas
I
Tech.
was going to say.
Excuse me.
Wait,
Excuse
what?
Me. I just said a random.
Yeah, that's not.
Maryland at Wisconsin.
Okay.
Okay.
This is not helping.
Wait, is this? Oh, I'm in the wrong week.
I was going to say, I
apologize.
Texas Tech,
I'm in the wrong week. I'm sorry.
Way to go, Chris.
Ohio State at Washington. LSU at Ole Miss.
Oh, that's good.
That's
good.
top 25. That could be it. The Illinois, Maryland, not USC, excuse me. Auburn at Texas A&M. That's a big SEC game. Yeah, those are kind of the only potential top 25 matchups. So, yeah, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas A&M. Those could be.
Yeah, I think if Illinois beats Indiana, then you got a shot for sure. But big noon kickoff probably going to be there. You would think.
So a great time for us.
The 9 a.m. kickoff, yeah. Well, it's to go from 8 p.m. this coming weekend to like 9 a.m. the next. It's an 11-hour difference. Pretty funny.
Do you remember our last big noon kickoff?
Colorado,
yeah.
Remember taking a rickshaw back?
Yeah.
Through the streets of.
Oh my God, that was just. We were telling somebody about how that was like the worst media experience ever. Like they were not ready for.
No parking.
The 1,000.
We have 2 calls.
Oh.
Sorry. Fell asleep at the wheel. Let the laptop go, go dark. Mitch in New Jersey. Are we potted up, Ryan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mitch, can you hear us?
Hey, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Love to play defensive line. Played great. Kept it really won the game for us. Not really, but it was much better than last year. And there's different tackles. He's for real. The one that scored that 7 yards was a fumble interception. Jerry's going to be getting more playing time. I know he came from Georgia. To me, a start. What do you think? I love the whole defensive line, especially the rotation guys.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. The rotation definitely stands out to me, too. The fact that they have so many options there is awesome. Like last year, they were grasping at straws, and now you can throw in freaking Floyd Boucard, and he can play 17 snaps and get 6 quarterback pressures, and Jakeem Stewart's doing his thing in there. The fact that they have 2 true freshmen who they're relying on, like that might make you think, oh, maybe that's not good. These guys are good players. They're doing really well. So I've been really impressed with the defensive line through 3 weeks. That's probably outside of Maiava and the receivers, probably been the most consistent unit. I mean, Wayman Jordan's been really good too. So a lot to like with those guys. I definitely agree with what Mitch is saying.
And getting Jarrett some good snaps too. That was someone who needed more development, and you're looking at him. He has the higher ceiling than Keyshawn Silver, I would say, and So you want to get him on the field, get him in shape, see him start to come into his own as a big bully in the middle, and I think he has, and obviously had a great moment with that thick six.
The thick six. We
Three
love it.
C's.
I
Put
know
three C's on it.
I know we have super chats, 2 more calls. Ryan, where do you want to go?
Oh.
Ryan, help.
We got a really good super
Yeah.
chat. Hold on.
I know.
Cousin Milt, 1999.
Whoa.
Great meeting you guys. Fight on. It was great to meet you as well. Came to our meetup. That was awesome.
Milton, who, as you know, does not watch USC games
It's so funny.
live
He won't watch.
on the TV or in person. Since the Rose Bowl in 2005, he has stopped doing that, so he just records them. If they win, he watches it. If they lose, never watches it. Never seen the Tulane game. Never seen the Michigan game. Never seen them. And he was there at Purdue, but he left.
The rain delay got
The rain
him?
delay.
Oh, so he didn't
So
get
it
to.
wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
Oh.
I'm devastated.
Blackie Chad says he's unable to call in.
No,
so
we're about to pot him up right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think we can only have 2 at a time because we don't let you queue we can't have like a full bank of calls, but we got 2 at a time. And Trojan, where's the meetup? So the meetup we did at Tom's Watch Bar in Indianapolis. For the next 2 games, road games, we're going to be at Theory Bar in Chicago. We did it 2 years ago for Notre Dame. It was freaking awesome. We packed the place. We are now working with the alumni club in Chicago.
What a flanker.
So yeah, flanker. No, that was yeah.
Are you going to wear the jacket?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely wearing a jacket. Yeah. Let me pull up
Get pictures with him in the jacket.
Yes.
The jacket back
It was awesome. So we're gonna do. It'll be at Theory Bar. So it's So our Wes emailed me from. They're the Chicago Alumni Board, so the Chicago Alumni Group for USC. So they do a lot of stuff at Theory. So we packed it just ourselves, and now we're going to work with them, and that should be packed. So that should be a lot of
And
fun.
we won't be late this time.
Well, if we go get pizza, maybe, but yeah, that's true.
He just wants them to cheer his name again.
That was pretty funny. Walking in there, and they're all cheering me and stuff. Nice. Yeah, you want to do the next call?
Sure, we have 2. Blackie Chan, we'll go to him first. Blackie
Okay.
Chan, you are on right now. Can you hear us?
What's going on, guys? So my question was, what's been worse now, the Big Ten refereeing or the Pac-12 refereeing? Because the jump over was, I think, BS, and I think the hold on the defensive line was just out of nowhere.
Thanks. Yeah, so I think we have so much more data on the Pac-12, and there's so much more. I mean, until we get like individual refs, like glasses ref and stuff, where they're becoming memes, and there's Twitter accounts dedicated to them, all that stuff. Yeah, we're not there yet. That's gonna take some. There's a lot of history with the Pac-12's refs, and that was a national phenomenon. So we're not there. But I think all of it's incompetence, not usually bias. Now, there was bias. The problem was with Pac-12 refs, and we've got to talk to Dan Weber, in the press box a little bit. And if you remember during the Pete Carroll era, there was, unfortunately for the Pac-12, there was bias at times. I'm not sure I think it's mostly incompetence when you talk about that stuff. But that Pete Carroll stretch, USC, on their schedule, USC was always the most penalized team, and the least penalized team was always USC's opponent. And if you looked at the data, it mathematically doesn't make sense that could happen. So it kind of showed that there was more of a trying to provide parity from the refereeing. So I think that's where it was that's bad. Like, you're actually trying to influence things. We haven't had some executive call down and try to change a call from, the booth. Pac-12, there's a lot to live up to as far as incompetence goes.
I don't know how glasses ref can now openly post on the Notre Dame board and was a big time official for years. Is
that what he's doing?
Yeah, he posts there all the time.
Really?
Maybe all the time is a stretch, but he posts there, and
He was like a Notre Dame fan.
It's weird. I saw something. Chris pulled something up on Twitter that there's a
Via
theory that maybe there's one of the refs was a Purdue fan.
Via Rusty, who put out a tweet that said the back judge is a Purdue fan. He was
Wow.
posting about
You did have one of the announcers on TV who was honored at halftime, but Purdue legend. I know there were some people complaining about the bias of the announcers for the game. Gary Danielson, who we interviewed at Big Ten Media Day, super nice guy, but yeah, he was a Purdue legend.
Rusty also noted that the head ref in the game has previously been suspended by the MAC for incompetence.
Yeah, good stuff. I
Wait,
mean,
so
it's bad.
Crack team.
It's bad, but it's nowhere near Pac-12 bad yet. Sorry, Blackie. We got another one?
Casey, you are on Tunnel Vision right now. Hello.
Hello?
How's it going? You're on.
Oh, great. My name is Casey. Thanks for having me on, guys. Currently, we're ranked top 25, right? But according to, what do you guys think, the eye test, stats, last year, this year, where do you guys feel like we really rank in terms of the top 25? Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Casey. No, I think USC would be in the 20s somewhere right now, but there's a lot of opportunities to, if you beat Illinois on the road, you're a top 15 team at least, Then you beat Michigan. Yeah, I think the schedule's set up well. I think, if you can't lose to Notre Dame and Oregon and be a top 10 team probably, or pretty, you could be close, but yeah, I think the schedule's set up well that if they look good and they beat some of these teams on their schedule, there's no, they could be a top 5 team, but they got to win all those games.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they deserve to be ranked right now, but I have a hard time saying exactly where I think they will end up. Just looking at some of the teams at the top, Ohio State's been good, Penn State. It's nice that USC doesn't play those two teams this year.
Yeah.
The top 10 outside of Illinois, it's a lot of the classic teams that you'd expect. So
you get to play one of them.
I think they could be a top 15 team and the best case scenario, but I'm also kind of nervous to just say that. I think they could. There's, to me, somewhere between 15 to 30. That's how I see it.
And if you beat Oregon at Oregon, that's potentially the best win of anybody all season so far, right? Like if Texas would have won at Ohio State, Ohio State beating Texas at home, that's great. But if you have an opportunity to beat Notre Dame on the road and Oregon on the road, and that would be pretty good. Texas A&M's get a lot of credit for winning at Notre Dame. They're still ranked, even though they haven't won a game yet. So you have opportunities if you can win those games. There's no reason why you can't. Those could be two of the better wins on that anyone has.
I agree. They got it all out ahead of them.
Puck had a question in the chat for YouTube. How will Riley keep 3 excellent running backs happy?
Well, one's hurt.
Yeah, one's hurt.
Yeah, that's
One's
easier.
referring to King Miller.
I don't know if he's referring to King, but
I think he might be referring to King Miller.
Well, King Miller, he's done such a good job. He's earned snaps. I kind of think he's doing a nice job of splitting it up, which is not what we've seen.
he fell off this last game. He didn't get a touchdown. So
Eli's gotten some scores. He's had some big runs. Waymo is obviously kind of that feature back. So yeah, I think they've done a really good job of splitting up the carries and getting these guys touches.
Yeah.
The calls are pouring in. We have Thomas from Malibu. Ryan, is it a good time
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take
let's
another
do
call?
another one.
Okay.
The
Thomas
Boo.
from Malibu. Hello, you are on Tunnel Vision right now. How's it going?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Ryan?
Hey, yeah, thanks for calling in.
Hey, first of all, guys, great show. Stop the whining, though. There's actually people here on the West Coast that travel to the East Coast every week for business and actually work full days after red eyes, right? So I don't want to hear any more whining from you guys.
Yeah,
You're doing an awesome job.
get 'em.
So thank you for everything. Hey, Ryan, I want you to do me a favor, and I don't want to get into personalities, but I want to make sure you promise to remind Harvey Hyde when you do your weekly show with him tomorrow,
Okay.
or whatever it is this week. All I heard about was what a tremendous genius Barry Odin is, and what a great coach he is at Purdue and everything else. We beat the hell out of Lincoln Riley, and by the way, he gave us a lot of ammunition to beat the hell out of him the last couple of years.
But yesterday he made some great strides. The way that he salted away that fourth quarter with what was a 7-minute drive at the end, just running the football. And I thought Chrissy T made a great point earlier in the show when he said Lincoln did not go away from the run early when they struggled. You know, we can't just keep beating the hell out of this guy, but not recognize when he does things well. So, hey, a long way to go in the season, but I think he showed tremendous signs of growth yesterday. And, you know, let's get behind this guy. He's doing some good things. We complain about it. He's doing what we want him to do. Let's get behind him, and let's get ready for Michigan State. And again, guys, thank you so much. You have a wonderful show here.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
I want to know where Harvey Hyde is right now.
That's awesome. Thanks. He's a Vegas guy, and
that was a reference to when Ryan Day yelled out Lou Holtz.
Oh yes.
I want to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
But yeah, I think you got to give Lincoln Riley a bunch of credit. I think, I mean, to be fair, Purdue's already doubled their win total from all of last year. And last year, if a team of USC's caliber came to West Lafayette, the score wouldn't be 33-17. It would have been more like 53-17. So I think, you know, and I'm curious if Purdue's better than like Michigan State. Like, honestly, like watching Michigan State, I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, I think Barry Odom's doing a good job there. Complete roster turnover, but it just wasn't going to be enough. But I'm curious, you know, how they do the rest of the season. I think he is a good coach.
Where does Purdue rank among the 3 teams they've played?
The 3 teams? Well, they
I think
played
they're the top.
Southern Illinois, like they're bad. That's an FCS team.
And Ball State.
And Ball State, I don't think is very good. But
I definitely get what Thomas is saying, and we've talked a lot about this, how we have ripped Lincoln Riley over the years.
Yeah.
Especially me. And when he does the right thing, yeah, absolutely give him credit, and I'll give him credit for this win. The only thing I'll say is, like, it's year 4. We got to see some wins against these better teams, and we all expected them to go 4-0. When the season came and the schedule came out, I think everyone said, like, no one said anything outside of 4-0. So give them credit, absolutely. They're taking care of business, but this is what's been expected. We got to see some unexpected stuff, I think, to really tip of the cap to them.
Trojan says, Ryan, do you think Purdue upsets Notre Dame? That'll be interesting. Where is that one? Is that at Purdue or is that
Purdue's had all home games, so
it's probably
at Notre Dame.
At Notre
they have a
Dame,
brutal schedule. They got Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
it's at Notre Dame.
But I think they'll be
else big?
more competitive and stuff. So
That'll be a tough spot. Notre Dame will be obviously upset.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they've quit on the year, and maybe maybe it goes the other way.
Peter in the chat wants to know, was Elijah Page out yesterday, and is Micah Benuelos the starting left guard moving forward?
Elijah Page was in, and Micah Benuelos is not the starting right guard moving forward. I thought after he started against Georgia Southern that he had taken over for Alani Noah, but that was not the case. Lincoln Riley said after that game that it was an in-house decision for why they played Benuelos over Noah, and whatever ended up transpiring, Noah in the following week got the job back, and it looks like he's the starter. So that's something I was trying to read between the lines, and I guess I looked a little too hard at the situation. Should have taken Riley for his word. Alani Noah was starting, and I don't think Micah Benuelos played a single offensive snap. So Noah looks like the guy.
Do we have more calls?
No.
Okay. All right. I thought we were just had a whole bunch more. Thank you for we got a flurry of calls there. I love that. That was great. Alan in St. Louis. Is Jayden Walker legit? Can he get more snaps? Looked like a monster in his limited time on the field.
I think he's on the track to being legit.
Yeah, I like what he's doing, and I like the development that he's had from coming in as a freshman, mainly playing edge rusher, to now looking like a linebacker, and he just has this like swagger to him when he's out there running and walking or moving about. So I really like Jayden Walker, super violent player, and I think he's going to be really good. But like Colin said, I think he's on the track to being a legit guy. He's got the tools.
We saw a lot of Tamir Robinson, or maybe not a lot, but more Tamir Robinson than I was expecting in this game. Made some nice plays. So I'm not totally sure who the third linebacker is. Jayden Walker came in early when Eric Gentry was getting his shoulder looked at. So I think they're still figuring out the depth chart after Gentry in Stevens, but I was a little nervous about Tamir Robinson after that Georgia Southern game. He didn't play a whole lot, and then he came back, made some plays against Purdue, so he looks like he's on the right track now. Same with Jaden Walker. I think Elijah Newby's stock has fallen a little bit, but the depth there, especially looking to the future, should be pretty solid.
We had a Facebook question. What's up with all these penalties? Can they fix them?
You'd hope, but if you look at the last couple of years, USC's just been penalized a ton, and it's a problem for Lincoln Riley coach teams. It's something that we really need to be paying attention to because it's such a killer. But this is a trend, unfortunately, and for them to get into where we think they can be, like in the best case scenario, they got to work out some of those kinks because those penalties are killer. And forget the ref conversation for a second because they did have some legit penalties in that game that could so easily be avoidable. Like you can't have 2 freaking 15-yard penalties for sideline interference.
Yeah.
You got to clean that up.
Yeah, that was a little crazy. 2 weeks in a row, a bad amount of penalties, so you can't have that happen. Jeremy, I don't know if he's inviting people. I got 2 tickets to the Illinois game if anyone's traveling to Champaign in 2 weeks. So we will be there, and we'll be in Chicago Friday night at Theory Bar if you guys want to come around. But
with the jacket, he'll take photos with you.
Yeah, with the jacket or without.
Can people
whatever.
wear the jacket?
You can touch it. You can't wear it. Yeah.
Can I try it on?
It'd
be way too big on you. It's XL.
It was really funny when Ryan was inside buying it. Then Connor was like, "Can you buy 2?"
I was joking, but I didn't bring a freaking jacket.
I could have got you one. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
You guys would have matched.
It came in handy because it was chilly, and I was like, if I just had to rent a jacket, I probably would have paid $80. But now I get to keep it. Like it's pretty cool.
Can you rent a jacket?
Yeah, you could rent it whatever you want. I think. Lamont on YouTube. If we maintain this 20-point defense, I believe we will be fine. In this era of offense, no team will have a shutdown defense. The bend don't break D is what we need. What do you think? I think you relied on some really big plays on defense you can't necessarily rely on all the time.
If you're if you're living and dying by
pick 6 with a 360-pound guy and 2 interceptions in the end zone, like that's.
It's a little bit like the first year under Riley where they got a ton of turnovers.
It's true.
It ended up at the end of the year not working out, but I do think this defense is certainly better than that defense. I'm not trying to say that, but the point that Chris made, you can't just rely on the turnovers. You got to get stops. So I get what the question is, and like the statistics look good, but I mean, not to drag my Patriots into it, but like they're kind of doing the same thing in the NFL, and USC's better than the Patriots. They suck, but like the stats make their defense look good, and their defense hasn't been very good. So sometimes the stats can be misleading.
I forgot Feedy had this question up earlier, a comment on Facebook. It's always great. It's always a great way to start the season when USC is 3-0, UCLA is 0-3, Notre Dame is 0-2. Fight on, and UCLA just fired their head coach. Deshaun Foster gone. Pretty crazy. There's a lot of stuff, weird stuff going on over in Westwood right now.
Pretty big admission of a mistake to fire him 3 games in, but when you lose to New Mexico, you had no choice.
Yeah, that was and that was a blowout loss. Now,
yeah.
We watched that game, and I don't know where you were thinking, Connor, but I took New Mexico on the points. I don't know if you were on the same side of that.
The algorithm, like UCLA, the vibes did not.
No, the vibes were pretty.
What algorithm are you using, buddy?
Yeah, whatever algorithm it was like. Cam Life on YouTube. Kamari has been mid at best this season. Ooh, that's tough.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think is going on? The extra weight is working against him. He looks slower out there. Seems a little tough.
I think they're making him play a position that he's obviously comfortable in, but it's not his natural spot. And
yeah,
I think if he was playing safety, we'd see a much better version of him.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been mid either. I think he's been fine.
Yeah, I don't think he's been mid. He hasn't been like. It's been like a lot of staple plays for him, but I don't think he's been bad by any means.
We got another Facebook question. Thanks for the Facebook's people and the love. Casey, realistically, what is the best and worst case scenarios for this team record-wise?
3-9, 12-0, right?
I mean, that technically yes. I mean, UCLA is not like you can't. That's not a potential loss.
Well, before the year I said 8-4. I think we all did, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's kind of the floor, though, to me.
I kind of feel like that's the floor now.
So
With
best case, I don't know. Best case 11-1. Fuck it.
yeah,
Mute him.
I was just gonna. That was like a league Corso. They kept showing it. Like,
Shut up, midget. No, but what do I think? I think 8-4, 9-3 still. This Purdue game hasn't really changed my trajectory.
What he said.
I think I'm in the same. I'm in the same boat there. Paul says Ramsey had to play a lot of nickel because of injuries to Alex Graham and Prophet Brown. Yeah, so I think he's sort of making some sacrifices, and he's also not wearing the green dot now. It's Desmond Stevens too. So, but the defense doesn't look as fundamentally sound as I think they were last year. Where maybe last year they were lacking some of the play, like the
Talent?
the talent, and
That's what's so interesting to me. That's a great point. I think especially at the cornerback spot, like they really miss Jalen Smith and Jacoby Covington when he was healthy. So yeah, I don't understand that.
Cam's life says he's been mid, guys. Sorry to break it to you. Hardly heard the name yesterday or even against Georgia Southern. Again, I think it's a little harsh there.
What's he grading it?
He's grading out well.
Is it PFF grade?
Yeah, 73 on the year.
Okay, yeah. So that's not mid. That's significantly better than mid. Cool. All right.
He just doesn't make a lot of plays right now. And
Yeah, and I think some of that is just playing out of.
Well, he was in on that.
the thick six.
The thick six with Devin Tompkins. Let's
Yep.
give some Devin.
Who shotgun
Tompkins.
shouted out in the chat. I think he led USC with 7 pressures in the game. So
Devin Tompkins.
yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
let's go. Let's get some DT love. Hasn't been lighting up the stat sheet, but 7 pressures. That's a lot.
or PFF says 9. So I don't want to. Or is this for the season? This is for the season. Sorry. God.
Get him off of here.
7 in the game.
Nice. Devin Tompkins. All right, cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. Chris, it was great to get you in studio. Riley had a prior commitment. We usually have Riley coming in on Sundays, but it was nice to get everyone that was out there in West Lafayette to be able to chime in. And we had a ton of people watching live, so thank you for that. We'll put this up in podcast form as well, and then a whole bunch of shows this week. I'll have Harvey Hyde on tomorrow. We'll actually interview Jamaal Jarrett through House of Victory. Connor and I will do that. Should be a lot of fun. Chris has his Helium Boys podcast and also the Composite 2-Star Recruits podcast. Connor and I do our podcast. We'll do our Thursday preview show for Michigan State. And then a week from tonight, wrapping it up, the Michigan State recap show here in studio again. So, I mean, there's a show at least every day.
I don't think we have enough podcasts.
We have so many.
Let's add a couple more.
It was great. It was
And we had
funny.
a triple-double podcast Friday. We talked some hoops.
Oh, you did a little hoop talking. Yeah, nice. It's tough to slide that in there, like, in football season. But yeah, it's good to.
But we do it.
You guys you're there.
Let's get a Dado download in there too.
It's funny if you guys were listening to the radio broadcast because they had to kill some time. They had me on as a guest, like with Peter Arbogast and Sean Cody. It was a lot of fun. But we got to talk about like the history and of the show and doing podcasts and everything that we do at uscfootball.com. So that was cool. It was good to get in there. Their booth was basically right next to the press box, so they needed to kill time because of the 3-hour delay that you weren't expecting. So
Did you wear the jacket?
no, I think I had the jacket off.
I didn't want them to be distracted. They would have talked the whole time about that.
They would be like, "Where did you get that jacket?" I'm like, Cracker Barrel. They didn't have a lot. If you've ever been to a Cracker Barrel, there's like a store that you can buy stuff like Christmas ornaments and everything.
Country store.
Yeah, it's a country store, but we're really close to West Lafayette, so most of the clothing was Purdue clothing. But this was just like a regular. What'd they call the jacket? What was the name of it? Oilskin jacket.
He's bearing the lead. You know those big NASCAR jackets with the logo on the back? It's got the Cracker Barrel logo on the back.
Oh yeah, people asked if that. I'm like, I didn't get one of those. I didn't want that. I just wanted like a regular looking jacket, and I was like, wow, there's a regular looking jacket. It's my size. Like it just worked. And I'm like, oh, that's like $180 jacket. It was like, that was $80. I'm like, screw it, I'll buy it. And we had like 4 minutes to the Uber. So I was like, the line's too long. Then I went back in. I'm like, I'm going to buy it.
We open with a jacket and we're closing with a jacket.
Close with the
We
jacket.
spent 3.4% of this podcast talking about.
You know what we should really close with? I think we're going to close with
The thick six?
thick 6 because,
And then the jacket again.
yeah. No, there's no jacket, but we'll do the thick
But
6
there's Kamari.
closing.
Bang. I kind of missed him there. And then he got.
Kamari was part of it, right?
Someone said it's like the boulder in Indiana Jones. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
I want to ask.
Get off me.
DeCarlos, does he get to keep the ball? Because it looks like DeCarlos.
He just dropped it.
He took. He's like, hey, you got to get this ball.
Oh,
Grabs
yeah.
the ball for him.
And Eric Gentry like waving bye-bye to everybody.
The celebrations are kind of muted because I think everyone was so surprised.
Yes, like. It got so quiet in there.
Yeah.
Like
The press box
so
was quiet too, where it's like,
Is this real?
Is this live?
Is that happening, or is it? Yeah.
Are we all dreaming? Are we saying the same dream?
Did a 360-pound guy just intercept a pass and run it back for? Yes.
70 yards.
Yeah, 70-yard interception return, which was insane. The show was insane, but we love it. We love that everyone was in there jumping in the chat and calling in and all that. Thank you so much. Big Ten play is here. USC's 1-0 for the first time in the Big Ten and has a true Big Ten road win. So that's pretty impressive. You got Aiden Childs and Jonathan Smith and Michigan State coming into the Coliseum late on Saturday night. So we'll talk about all that heading up this weekend. Hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Thanks again to Chris. Thanks again to Connor for coming in. And we will talk to you next time.